Hey everybody, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 5 tips to grow your Poshmark business fast in 2020. We are getting into this new year in full swing. So if you are selling on Poshmark or interested in selling on Poshmark, these tips are going to help you accelerate your sales and really amp up your growth factor to your Poshmark business. If you are new to my channel, I welcome you. I'm Sydney. I've been selling on Poshmark for 5 years now. I make a ton of videos about Poshmark and making money online. It's just something I'm really passionate about because I truly feel like anybody can sell on Poshmark and anybody can make money on Poshmark. They have really made it so easy and so streamlined. I was also a closet consultant at Poshfest, and I have worked with hundreds of people to help them with their closets and to get on the right track in making consistent sales. Before we get started, I just wanted to answer a few questions that I get on a pretty regular basis. All the equipment and everything that I use for Poshmark is linked down in the description box. Also, I've been getting a lot of questions about my new private Facebook group that is going to be focused on teaching people how to source and price items. So it's going to be a private training group on Facebook, and I will put all of the information and everything that it includes down in the description box as well. And then I also link it in the comments. So definitely check that out if you need help learning how to source the correct items to sell and learn how to price your items. Okay, so let's get into the video on tips for you to grow your Poshmark business really fast. This is great for anyone, whether you are doing this as a side hustle or trying to grow this into a full-time business. Okay, so my first tip to grow your Poshmark business fast is to list at least 5 new items every single day. So you want to be able to have enough items to be listing at least 5 items every day. This is going to do a number of things for your closet. It helps your closet in the algorithm. It helps keep your listings fresh. It helps keep them at the top of the search results. It helps you to keep appearing in the newly listed page. So you need to be listing new items every day. And I realize this is pretty difficult, especially if you are first starting out. So look around your house for stuff to sell. You know, if you are not at the point where you are going out and sourcing items, look around your house for stuff to sell. Ask your friends and family if you can sell things for them, you know, or if they want to donate anything to you. Just do what you can to find items. And this is not as difficult now that Poshmark has introduced the home market. So there are a multitude of items that you can actually sell on Poshmark now other than just clothing. So just try to keep your listings new and fresh and make sure you're listing new items every single day, not deleting and relisting old items. My next tip for you is to share your closet as much as you can. You want to be sharing in general as much as you can because this keeps you active on the app, and the more active you are on the Poshmark app, the better your closet is going to perform and the better your chances are at growing and making sales. So your first priority obviously is sharing your own listings. You want to be active on the app almost all day, multiple times a day, as often as you can, sharing your own listings. You know, you want to make it second nature opening up the Poshmark app, just like it's second nature if you are to open Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. Open Poshmark because Poshmark is going to make you money. You know, scrolling Instagram, scrolling Facebook, that's not making you money. So make it second nature to start opening Poshmark as much as you can and sharing your closet. Anytime you have a few minutes a day, you don't have to share your entire closet at once. Just open it and share 5 to 10 items. You know, depending on how much inventory you have in your closet, you don't have to share your entire closet every single hour of the day. Pick 10, 15, you know, if you have a lot of listings, pick 100 listings for that day and share those listings over and over for that day. Don't overwhelm yourself and try to share your entire closet. If you have a really large closet, you don't want to be, you know, overwhelming yourself and talking yourself out of sharing because you think it takes a long time. So designate 100 listings for the day and then share those listings, and then the next day pick 100 different ones. If you don't have a large closet, that's perfectly fine. Try to share your closet at least 3 times a day. It's in a sense easier if you don't have a large closet, because then you can share all of your items in one sitting. So I usually try to share my closet in the morning when I first wake up, and then sometime during the middle of the day, like when the first party starts. I'm on the East Coast, so the first party starts at noon, and then absolutely share during the last party of the day. This is when the most people are on the app, and this is when your listings are more likely to be seen. So you want to be sharing during the last party. During the last party is also a great time to share other people's listings, and this will cause them in turn to come and share your listings, and that's going to give your closet free promotion and get your listing seen to a lot more people. My next tip for you to grow fast on Poshmark is to actually put effort into your photos. Your photos are what is going to make you sales. This is what sells your listings for you. So you absolutely need to be putting effort into your photos as much as you can. Like I said before, everything I use for photography and things like that are linked down below. You don't have to get super complicated with your photography. You just need a clear image of the item that's bright and that stands out and that will make the item appealing to the buyer. You need to at least spend some good time on your cover shots. I like to edit my photos using apps like Lightroom, or Snapseed is a good one as well. Those are both free apps that you can use to edit and brighten your photos. You don't want to edit your photos to a point where it's misleading or to where it misrepresents the color or the item, but you can absolutely go into these apps and upload your photos and brighten them to make them stand out from everyone else's. Even if you have a lighting kit, you know, I still edit my photos even though I have plenty of lighting. The lighting doesn't necessarily make your photos Poshmark ready. It just helps to enhance them to make your editing job easier. But you still need to absolutely be editing your photos. If anything, you need to be editing the cover shot to, you know, give that first impression to the buyer and attract the buyer to your item. Your cover shots need to be very clear, they need to be very bright, and they need to stand out. And you can play around with different cover shots. I personally do not like to spend time styling cover shots. A lot of people do like styled flat lays and things like that. Personally, I like to photograph a lot of items at one time, so doing that really slows me down, and I just prefer not to do that. If you would rather do that and style your flat lays, by all means, go for it. It's just not something that I do when I am trying to photograph many items at one time. My theory is that simple is better. I like a clean white background. I like, you know, sometimes I'll show like a close-up of the item, sometimes I'll show the item from far away. It just depends on what the item is and what I feel like is best shown in the cover shot in order to attract the customer. So use your best judgment, look at your photos overall and try and judge which photo is the more eye-catching photo, and pick that photo for your cover shot. If somebody sees it and it's eye-catching to them too, they'll then click on your listing and they're going to be more likely to buy it if you can get them to actually open your listing. My next tip for you is to educate yourself as much as you can. The reselling world is something that is constantly changing. Trends are constantly changing. Pricing is constantly changing. So you need to be able to really educate yourself on what is selling at any given moment. You need to know trends. You need to know hot selling items. You can go into the parties and you can filter by solds and, you know, look and see what people are buying. Look at the showrooms on Poshmark and see what's trending on Poshmark to kind of give you an idea in terms of the kinds of items you need to be sourcing. And then you will also have to kind of play around with your pricing to figure out, you know, how items sell for you. I don't recommend pricing items as low as possible. That is never a good idea. Like I said, we are going to be going very into depth on sourcing and pricing in my private Facebook group, so I will link that down below for you. But just try to educate yourself as much as you can. Watch YouTube videos, get on Instagram, you know, follow fashion bloggers and pay attention to what they're wearing. You have to be able to know what people are interested in buying. And Instagram is a great resource for that, and the fashion bloggers are a great resource for that. My next tip for you is to have a good variety of both high-end and low-end items. And what I mean by this is, you know, the more expensive an item is, the more an item is worth, usually the longer it takes to sell, unfortunately, because that item is going to take a very specific buyer who is willing to pay that much for it, especially on, you know, a place like Poshmark where people are coming for deals and things like that. But you will have items that are worth a lot, over $100, hundreds of dollars. And if you have items like that, usually they just take longer to sell. So to supplement those items, you also have to have a good mix of lower end items. And when I say lower end items, I like to keep my lower end items at least $20 and above, just because that is what is going to be worth your time to list. So, you know, it's really important that you kind of keep your price point in mind when you're sourcing items and when you're listing items, because it does take a lot of time to list these items, and you don't want to be taking your time to list items that you're trying to sell for $5. The only time that really works is if you have one item that you can list once and you have, you know, multiple quantities of that item. When you're trying to list individual items, it's just not worth your time listing individual items that you're trying to sell for $5. So I really don't like to ever price anything below $20. Also, that is to leave room for price negotiations and offers and things like that. But just, you know, really put effort into looking for quality items that are going to sell for you at the price point of $20 or more. So those are my tips for you to grow your business fast in 2020. You really want to focus on listing and sharing your items to promote them. Also, look at your Posh Ambassador checklist and work on becoming a Posh Ambassador. That will help your closet in terms of getting followers and building your following on Poshmark. I do not recommend spending a lot of time following thousands and thousands of people. It's just not a good practice when you could be putting that time into listing items, which is going to increase your likelihood of making sales. Once you get to that level of Poshmark Ambassador, you'll automatically start getting a ton of followers. So just try not to stress about your followers too much. They will come with time. Right now, your focus needs to be on building your inventory and promoting that inventory in order to make sales. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I hope that you will subscribe if you are new. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions, and I will see you guys in the next video.